Hello everyone and welcome to my corner of the world. Today I have another idea for using your stamping blends, and it's also featuring a technique which is the spotlight technique. And as you can see, I have this card here which is mainly decorative paper or designer series paper as we call it in Stampin' Up. And then there's this one piece here that I've coloured and spotlighted, and I've used my blends to do that. So I'm going to share with you how I did the technique and how I use the blends as well. As you may remember, I've been doing a series of videos explaining how I am learning how to use blends, and I am doing it on camera rather than perfecting it off camera and then going sort of ta-da to show you something that's absolutely perfect. So I am using this paper. So we're actually colouring in paper today rather than a stamped image. And this is the paper. This paper is called Beautifully Penned, and it is available at the moment until September the 30th, 2021, as a free item. If you place a $50 order. So as you can see, there's flowers and wavy lines and stripes and more flowers and some polka dots. And so it's a really lovely paper, absolutely perfect for what I'm going to share with you. So I've started by cutting a piece. Now this is 5 by 3 3/4, that's right. And what I've done is I've looked for a whole flower, and then I've used my layering circles dies, and I've picked the one that would cut all of my my piece out. And just so it wouldn't move, I used a tiny little bit of washi tape just to hold it in place. And here's my piece. So as far as my colouring is concerned, I'm going to put this on a piece of paper because the blends pens, that's alliteration, isn't it, actually do bleed through because they're so strong. So I am going to start by using the I'm going to be using the light Blackberry Bliss, and I'm going to start by putting in some darker colour where at the base of the petals. Over many years I've observed that tends to be the case, and I'm not doing anything special, and I'm hoping I'm not getting my head in the screen, but I'm just going to the base of the petals and just sort of putting in a little, and I'm trying as much as possible to use the very side of my brush, of the brush end of the blend, rather than the tip. So you'll want to make sure that you put your caps on because these are alcohol and they will evaporate. Then I'm going to use the light Highland Heather, and I'm bringing in those colours, bringing up the colour up a little bit further. And if you've been watching my other videos while I've been learning how to do blends, you'll remember that I've said not only to just use the side of the tip so they don't get all sort of crunchy and they break down, but also build up your colour and don't get too close to the outside of the line all in one go, because I found that it bleeds and this, if you like, is my solution to that. So I'm just building up my colour. And at the same time, what I'm also trying to do is to sort of backfill around that darker Blackberry Bliss. And then I'm going to go back in again, and all the time I am working over the Blackberry Bliss again to sort of soften the edges. Oops, I've gone over the edge there. Never mind. I'm going to go back to this one. And it's quite relaxing, actually, colouring in. There we go. I'm trying to pull the colour in as much as possible so I haven't got quite such a harsh line between my two colours. There we go. Ooh, coming along nicely. And now I think I need to go in between my little stamens there. There, I'm trying not to sort of scrub with that tip because it will start to break down. There we go. I think I can always come back and do a bit more. All right, so there, you can see that I've kind of softened those lines, but I've still got some darkness down there. And I've got, let's see, this is the Old Olive, this is the light Old Olive. So I'm just going to use the bullet end on this one because it's more controllable. And I'm just going to put in the little green bits, which are known as calyxes, if I remember correctly. And then I've got some little buds, and I'm just going to go back in and just pick out the white bits. There we go. I think I'm good on that one. All right. So those were the three colours I used. The dark Blackberry Bliss, the light Blackberry Bliss, the light Highland Heather, and the light Old Olive. And there you can see, isn't that pretty? Now, I then cut out a piece of black using the same die set, but this time I used the scalloped edge, and it's just fractionally larger. Yeah, you can see there. So I'm going to use a little tape. Oh yeah, you can see how it bleeds through. Okay, but that's why you need to make sure that when you use your blends, you're doing them on a surface that doesn't matter if it gets marked, but secondly, that it's something that's going to sort of go on another layer to cover up. Okay, so that's that piece. And then I've got what is left of my original piece of Designer Series paper. And I'm going to attach this to a piece of black. And this piece of black is 5 1/4 by 4. Now you don't need to remember all these measurements because if you follow the link below my video here, you will, it'll take you to my blog, and there it will have all of the measurements and the supplies all listed. So I'm going to pop this down, and I'm going to put some Stampin' Dimensionals underneath it. So I'm only going to put like 3, That's all that's really needed. And then you're going to have to find or orientate this so that it matches where you took it from, cut it from. And I'm thinking that I'm here. Does that look about right? You have to just wiggle it a tiny little bit just to make it work. So I can see that those three seem to be lined up, and that seems to be lined up as well. Yes, so. And you can just see there that that is just popped up and just looking lovely. I think it looks lovely, really. Right, so I'm just going to pop a bit of ribbon. Now this one obviously is going to be a bit different from the other one because depends where you cut your flowers from. And this piece of ribbon is the Luscious Highland Heather Grosgrain, and it's got sparkles in it, so it's right up my street. And I'm just going to kind of tuck it under a little bit. Now this one, my other one, because it was in a different place, I was able to put my ribbon in a different place, but this one is just going to be slightly different. But hey, who says it's got to be exactly the same? So I'm going to put my piece of ribbon down. I'm going to pop 3 glue dots on there just to make sure that it doesn't pop up. And where shall I put it? Oh, I think I'll pop it there. Right. And now dimensionals on the back, and if you've seen my videos before, you know 1 in each corner and 1 in the middle. And I'm just going to pop this onto a piece. Now this is the basic white cardstock. This is cut at 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. So there we go. And a final greeting. Now I'm using my greeting from the Elegantly Said stamp set, and I wanted to use this Happy Anniversary. I've not used that one before, so I've just got some black ink, the Tuxedo Black, little scrap of basic white, which I'm going to just stamp onto. Don't need much in the way of any more detail really with this, because you really want your spotlight to do just that, be spotlighted. So I'm just gonna trim that up a little bit. I think it's a weeny bit big, so we're just gonna trim it down a bit more. Now I think that looks better. And I'm just gonna pop it on my ribbon. Not quite sure if I should. Nope, I think I'm going to do it like that. So back with the dimensionals. And I think I'm just going to pop it like that. And then my last little flourish are the In Colour Jewels. So these are this year's In Colour Jewels. And the one of the jewels is called Fresh Freesia. And they're close enough to the Highland Heather to be perfect for the job. So I've got a couple here. I'm just going to pop them in the middle of these flowers so that there's a little bit more glitter. And then I've got a couple more of that colour in here. I think this has been one of my favourite colours because I'm working my way through those. So it's a good job I had some spares. So I'm just going to pop those into the centre of some of these other flowers, and maybe just one here. Okay, so there we are. Another technique using your blends and featuring the spotlight technique. Hope you've enjoyed this one. Remember to go back and look at the other techniques that I have been sharing. I'd certainly appreciate it if you give me a little thumbs up, and if you don't already do so, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Well, thank you very much for joining me today. I appreciate you spending time with me. Bye for now.